Diva Loves? This is your girl, Miss Sophia the Diva, and I promised you guys I was going to try to get better about the book reviews that I do. Very diverse reader, so I don't strictly read just Black authors only and urban fiction. I read a little bit of everybody, okay? But either way, we are here to talk about this book, Evelyn After. It's by a lady named Victoria Helen Stone. And I'm just going to read the summary that is given about the book and then tell you my thoughts on it. I did rate it as a 5 on Amazon. Evelyn Tester is sleepwalking through her suburban life until a late night phone call startles her awake. Her husband, a prestigious psychiatrist, has been in an accident and he isn't alone. Suddenly, Evelyn's world isn't as tidy as she thought, and in the midst of it all is Juliette. Not only her husband's secret lover, but also his patient. Ooh, child, ethics violations. If news of the affair were to get out, it would ruin more than just Evelyn's marriage. Although it's a bitter pill for Evelyn to swallow, protecting her family means staying silent, even if, as she begins to discover, the night of the accident has consequences far more dangerous than the unmasking of an affair. But the more Evelyn learns about Juliette's picture-perfect life, complete with a handsome, unsuspecting husband, the more she yearns for revenge and satisfaction. Her growing obsession fuels her rage, burning away her complacency. What will be left of her after it flames out? Miss Evelyn was very busy in this book. So you can tell from the story that essentially what this story is about is a woman who had this seemingly picture perfect life. She was a housewife. They have one son that she's been busy raising and volunteering and working, at the schools as he goes up. Nice home, nice cars, but she's become complacent in this marriage. Her and her husband really aren't getting it on. They've gotten this rhythm and they're settled, which is one of the things that a lot of relationships you really don't want to see happen. My opinion on it was that it reminded me of a 21st century Kate Chopin's The Awakening. I don't know if anyone had to read that, but when I was in high school, I had to read that book, and it always has stuck with me and fascinated me. How a woman, was in the early, I think it was the 20th century or late 19th century, and discovered I don't have to be confined and defined by the rules of what society says. And that's kind of like how Evelyn was. Evelyn was like, I'm going to go for mine. Okay, so since my husband want to be out here creeping, doing some dirty underhanded things and cover-ups and shit, I'm going to go out and get mine. Juliette, I'm coming for yours. So there's like this steamy affair that goes on between her and Juliette's husband. Honey, they were secret lovers. Yeah, that's what they are as they lay. Hey, so I was like, but Evelyn, I think this accident was more than just an accident. It was a wake-up call for her. I got to get my shit together. I still got some years ahead. My husband may not want me, but I'm still desirable to someone. Honey, she went out and started dressing better, getting herself together, getting her some nookie on the side, down to the art gallery from Mr. Whitman, honey. And it was pretty interesting. I highlighted some quotes in this book. One of them that stuck out to me, her work was cleaning and washing and planning and ticking boxes for people who only noticed that work when she failed to do it. Like I said, she was very active in her son's school. She was also used to be, another thing about this book is that it points out how some of us will forget who we are prior to immersing ourselves in a relationship of some sort. Like, I was having a conversation with one young lady. I said, in hindsight now, I probably should have gone to Arts Mag, and by now I could be an outstanding, great thespian of some sort. But instead, I chose to say I played it safe. I went to Law Magnet High School, went to college, got a degree. My first degree, a bachelor's in sports administration with a minor in psychology, and then when I got my law degree, at one point I did try to pursue a master's in energy business because I thought maybe I wanted to be a landman for an oil company. because there was a time when I had an internship at an energy company, and it kind of fascinated me, the kind of work that they did. So that's another thing. She was an artist at one point and had fantasies of being like the next Georgia O'Keeffe or something. So she, just, let it go. But she had this awakening after the accident. There was a quote that I highlighted that said, "A sweet reprieve in an ocean of pain." She was hurting when she discovered that her husband was cheating on her. She wondered about her own existence and if she just disappeared, would people even notice? One quote says, "If she killed over today, her death would be a blip, a temporary stumble, even for the people she loved most in the world." Evelyn Tester was utterly replaceable. And then with regards to her marriage, there's a quote that said, "Life had a way of seeping into the seams of a marriage and slowly prying them open." So this accident also busted open the cracks in this seemingly perfect marriage that wasn't. She said, "But if she had been happy, why had it been so hard to wake up some mornings? Why had it gotten so impossible to get to sleep at night, and that she resorted to asking Gary for a prescription 3 years earlier?" Because, Evelyn, you, like so many other women, be it fictional women or real life women, we realize that our life has become too routine and boring, and some of us come to believe that there is all there is, when there is so much more. But sometimes it takes a catastrophic event to shake us awake, to realize, you know what, I need to get my shit together. I need to spend more time loving myself and stop being the sacrificial lamb for everybody. There's a saying that says you can't pour into others if you running on empty, sis. And it sounded like Evelyn was on fumes. She was just going through the motions like a zombie. Another quote I highlighted was, "Love was temporary, so was lust. And happiness, confidence, trust." And marriage, especially that. There's lust and there's love. How can we sustain love? Never true equality in marriage. Someone always had stronger feelings, or held the purse strings, or was more persuasive, powerful, and pushy. That's why you have to find a good partner. Okay? Then when she talks about her affair, she said, "Take a leap of faith." A funny way to think of an affair. But the truth is that she wanted Juliette to hurt as much as she was hurting. And I really don't think that Evelyn Tester was really hurt. I think it was more so of shocked that, here I am thinking I have this great man. And a lot of women get that way. They get comfortable. Maybe you did know he was cheating. Maybe you did know that you weren't doing enough to salvage the marriage. And then when you find out that your husband is cheating or doing other things without you, it's kind of shocking, but you need that wake-up call. I just thought this one was funny. He said he nudged her foot with his, and she realized she was still wearing her heels. Ooh, Evelyn. She had just had an extramarital sex on the storage room table while wearing black heels, 6 inches. She walked in the club like nobody's business. As for her husband, she said even when they had first been dating, Gary had only shown polite interest in her work. She must have been more confident back then if it hadn't bothered her. After all, she hadn't been that interested in his psychiatry papers either. Maybe they had been mismatched from the start. I don't know. Should couples be interested in what the other is doing? I don't know. I think they should be. Like my ex and I, he was trying to do music at one point. As a matter of fact, he was a very talented, or is a talented, gifted artist, a rapper. But he felt like I'm almost 40 at that time. And I was like, you're like 38, 39. You can still do it. 2 Chainz. If 2 Chainz can do it, you can do it. But he never wanted to do that. I think more than anything, whether he cared to admit to it or not, I think it was really just fear. Because, he supported me in my comedy at one point. I don't know. People pretend well. Maybe he never really was interested. I don't know. And maybe Gary really wasn't all that interested. Maybe he was just looking for somebody to settle down with and build a house. Because let's be real, a lot of people marry for finance, not romance a lot of times. Well, in some communities. Opposites might attract, but there were so many jagged seams where they tried to fit together. At one point, she was contemplating telling everything, and she was trying to commit suicide. That's another thing this book addresses, is suicide, when you have reached your lowest and you decide that you want to take your life, because would anyone really miss you? And the truth of the matter is, yes, people would miss you. I've talked about this in other videos. A year ago, July 1st, one of my friends took his life, and I miss him terribly to this day. As a matter of fact, I kind of just fell off watching TV and everything else, and I didn't realize I too had kind of fallen into a state of depression. We weren't best friends, but he was a very good friend and a good supporter, and I admired him. Like, it was like he's a rock star in the courtroom and he's this, but that wasn't enough. So he took his own life, and that's disturbing. So please know that if that is something you contemplate, that people will miss you, especially if you have children. Consider the children. She also notes that men would say anything in the pursuit of sex. Hell, they probably even meant it at the time, but once they were satisfied and showered, they certainly had no idea what you were talking about. I'm not looking for a girlfriend right now. I don't want things to get too serious. I forgot to mention I'm in a relationship. All of it designed to make the woman feel like he had been saying it all along and she hadn't been paying attention. That is why, ladies, we need to have a discussion, because as I have told men time and time again, upfront and direct is best with me, because I don't have time to play games. And especially at my age, at 41, I don't have time to play games with you anymore. If you just want to have a sex type thing, let me know. Maybe I want to play along, but give women a choice, gentlemen. Don't do that. Don't play the mental game. This was just the newest version of the same old thing. Now that we've had sex 24 times, I don't want to hurt my children. She was talking about the affair because they had two children. And so all of a sudden now he wants to get some moral turpitude going. And men to do that. But I'm like, you weren't thinking about your children when you were getting some and getting off. Strange that something so animal could feel divine. His thrusts felt like worship. I just like that line. I was like, it's like worship. Hallelujah. You know what my favorite thing is about men? You know what my favorite thing about men is? They all love to joke about not getting enough sex. How wives lose interest after the wedding. But the truth is, their soul seduction technique becomes, hey, you want to go upstairs? I've heard that. People we're like old people. We're just having sex, going through the motions, missionary, turnover, maybe on the side. It's done. Spice it up, people, if you want to save your marriages. This book is a cautionary tale about it. Think about how hard they worked for sex before. Oh my God, when you're first dating, it's like a full-time job for them. They dress nicely and use breath mints and they shave. Hell, these days they even groom their pubic hairs. And God, they're so fucking charming, aren't they? Yes, girl, they can be. Stroke value on point. They never get enough at home, but they treat us like milk cows. Come on, Bessie, this won't take long at all. And then my final quote that I highlighted was, it wasn't just the past you walked away from in a divorce. You walked away from your future as well. Everything you expected from life has changed. There is contemplation of divorce. I won't give the book away, but comment down below. Let me know, will you be reading Evelyn after? It's by, to me, I think it's a lesser known author. I don't know if she's big, but I really did enjoy the read, because it just addresses a lot of things that all women can relate to. Victoria Helen Stone is the author. That's her name. And it's just a really good read. And I think that's why the book is so appropriately titled Evelyn After, because actually it looks like she has it's something called Half Past. I'm going to have to check that out. Let's see. So it has a 4-star rating. But some of these comments, and I want to tell people, baby, look, it is fiction. I've seen some reviewers give it a 1-star, talking about this plot line was so far-fetched, I just couldn't believe. And I'm just like, it's fiction, not nonfiction. If you want real, read nonfiction, people. Like, did you like the book? Did you like the storyline? I mean, come on now. She goes, somebody was disappointed. It was a psychological thriller. It was edge of the seat, page turning or swiping in my case, since I read from a Kindle a lot. She said it turned out to be a predictable love story gone wrong. I wouldn't recommend this book to anybody. The plot was thin and the storyline was bland. It was good to me. Saying, hell, we can make it into into a Lifetime movie as far as I'm concerned. Who don't like watching Lifetime in your good comfy footies and in the bed or on a comfy sofa all day? I love it. Yeah, they said it was marketed as a psychological thriller. It was psychological. But I guess to each their own. She said, no, some people say it's just a boring romance story. I thought it was more than that, because there was at one point I thought Evelyn was going to kill Juliette, the little sweet school teacher out there getting it on with her psychiatrist, and he ashamed because he got busted with his patient. But I like Evelyn. I liked Evelyn after. So many more of us need to wake up and pay attention to our relationships and our marriages, maybe. Because maybe your husband is cheating in the next room. But like I tell some people, some relationships, they're okay with that. The next book I will probably be reviewing it's a Kindle first edition, because I have Kindle Unlimited. I have so many memberships. I really need to go through and just cut some of this. But the next book review will likely be Whisper Me This by Carrie Ann King. It will be for sale officially August 1st, and I'm reading that right now, so I hope to have an update for you. I'm going to try to do as many book reviews as I can, because in between working I try to get in reading, because that keeps the mind sharp. But that's all I've got. Again, thank you all for watching. Click that subscribe button if this is your first time here. I've got a little something for everyone. If you're into reality TV, I've got that on deck. If you're into certain popular shows, I've got that on deck. And I also cover the headlines from time to time. But yes, Whisper Me This by Carrie Ann King. It's psychological. I wouldn't say it's a thriller, but there's some plot twists. And I'm like, oh girl, if I had all day, I would just sit here and finish the book, because it's not a long read. But I did enjoy Evelyn after. I don't know what you people were so upset about with the book. I mean, come on, y'all. And then the plot twist isn't what you thought it was. And this, some of y'all are too anal. Y'all need to learn how to enjoy reading. That's all I'm saying. So again, subscribe, comment, let me know your thoughts if you've already read the book. I'd love to hear about them. I've been Miss Sophia the Diva, and Diva's a little bit of a bookworm, so get your read on. It's a great way to escape, because reading is fundamental.